Hey guys, Crystal Tama here for Studio Cadia. Today we have a little different video. This is going to show you how to use the slider tag dies that we have available, just released from Studio Cadia. So this includes the following. It also has all the sentiments, but I am not including in the video because you know how to use sentiments. So we're going to begin with the back part. So this is the back part of your tag, and I have this pre-cut to show you what it looks like. This is actually going to be faced like this. And then you're going to have your slider. So your slider is going to be pulled, and it's going to pull up and down. And it looks something like this. And I know it's a little different, a little difficult to see when you have it out of the same color, but essentially this is going to be pulled out. Then we have the main part. So this is going to cut out obviously the tag, and then it's going to cut out partially, and it's going to give you amazing score lines to be able to really place it and then pull this. And I'm going to show you how we're adding the adhesive to do the awesome pull die. It also includes this little tab, and the tab is to create a different type of tag. So how am I going to do this? Well, let me show you. We cut it out of vellum just to show you how easy this is. And then you have a separate tag. So it's more of a square tag. You can place your sentiment right on it, and then you can just slide in your gift card or your pattern paper or whatever it is that you're doing with it. And then everything comes pre-perforated with a little hole there, so you can attach your ribbon or your twine. So that's going to do that. And then we have these little eyelets, and this is just a nice little way to be able to add some of the little circles here, and it's going to allow you to just give a dimension. So if you cut those out of different colors, it really makes it look really fun. And then it comes with 4 itty bitty little tags, and this is going to be great for like layering. And so we're going to be using all these components in the next tag, and I'm going to show you beginning to end step on how to do this. And I do want to mention that as we are creating our tags, that do purchase your tags from the Studio Cadia or approved vendors. If you want to know approved vendors, just email us. And the reason why is that when you are creating with assembly dies, just as what we're doing here, a lot of the theft going on, they're the wrong size, guys. They're not going to work. You spent your money on one stealing the design. So we don't want to do that. And so be sure to get your tags, and we're going to have so many videos on how to use these tags, how to use these dies and other purposes from just tags. And the reason why is that we want you to get the most amount of crafting with your product. So I'm going to attach these down. You could do it without, but I like to make the maximum amount of cuts on the least amount of paper. So I'm going to start with that back, and then we're going to do that center or the slider part, and then we're going to do this guy, and then we're going to do the circles, and we are going to do the tags. And pretty much you have an entire tag cut out of a 6 by 4 1/4. So if you're using 12 by 12 paper, you get about 2 to 3 tags per 12 by 12 sheet. So I'm going to run these through my Gemini, which is my cutting machine. All right, so everything's cut, and let me show you how these pop out. I haven't popped them out, but I want to show you what this look like. So here's the back part. Here is the center part, and these dies do come all kind of together, so you do need to trim them up and remove them, but honestly, if you file them down, they're not sharp at all, and they cut crisp. And then you can see you have these amazing score lines that help you align everything. So when you have something like this, look at these super clean score lines that we got. It allows you to show where you're really folding, how to line it up, where to add your glue. And so honestly, Cadia has really thought about everything. And one of the things I don't think I have mentioned yet is that all these tags match all our other Studio Cadia tags. So we're going to pop these out. If they don't pop out, you have a little needle or nail file, something with the little poker. You can poke the backs of the dies, and these guys pop out. And then let me show you these amazing little dies again. All this is included in that slider tag die set, which is an incredible value for everything that you get and everything that you can make. So I have everything pre-cut, and I want to let you know that one of the best things that you can do is before assembling your card is to stamp or stencil or if you're using a solid color such as I am, do it prior to the prior to assembly. So I have all my right sides up. So in this case, we have the back, the center, and the front. And I'm going to be using the newest release. So this is the snowflakes. So guys, do not be confined to doing Christmas tags. You have birthday tags or birthday Studio Cadia stamps, any stamp that you have, you can do anything with it, even stencils. So I'm going to be showing you guys some different videos on the Studio Cadia YouTube channel on how to make different things with these amazing tags. So this is the back. Nobody's really going to see this, but that's okay. This is going to be the center. So think about your sentiments, where you're placing, and so this is going to be that main, you know, that main look, what really pops out here. So I'm going to set that aside so I don't end up stamping on it. I'm going to ink up, and I'm kind of going to do this on cornered. And I'm going to leave a little space there for my sentiment. Again, this is all from the snowflake stamps that released for the 2019 winter release. And again, this is the main focus of your card, this center one. All right, and then we're going to move on to decorate this guy. So I'm going to bring in, you know what, we're going to switch out stamps here. I'm going to grab another of those little ones. Okay. Now we're going to do a really large one right on the center. It's going to be really fun. We're going to tie it up with some red twine. So again, as I mentioned, you really want to decorate your tags prior to putting it together, and you're going to be amazed at how easy it is to put these tags together. And so we're going to let everything dry, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do to put these guys together. All right, everything's dried up, and now we're going to begin assembly card. So we're going to flip over the back of the tag, and we're going to begin by placing these guys together. So the very first step we're going to do is we are going to fold the score lines of our card, and be sure that your ink is completely dry so you don't smudge anything that you just spent stamping or doing anything with. So I am using Nina cardstock, which can very well be very, very thick. So depending on what you're using, it can be a little bit easier to score your lines. So a good way here to figure out the center is that you have two score lines. So you have a score line there, and you have a score line on the actual tag, and so that way you can line those up and you know that this is going to pop out perfectly. All right, so where do we place the adhesive? The adhesive is going to be placed in this bottom part. So Cadia had designed this to have it score right there, and you want to place your adhesive right there, and that way it doesn't go beyond that. So when you pull it up, it's going to bend, so make sure that your stuff is bending really, really nicely. And then we're going to bend in as well, so it accordions up. So when you add adhesive and you line it up, of course, we're going to pretend this is, it's going to go up and then down, up and down. So be sure that your lines have been completely folded, and the more folds you do, the easier it will be for the tag to slide up. We're going to flip this over, and I'm going to be using my score tape. So score tape is just a really strong adhesive, and you can use roller tape if you choose, but I'm going to try not to, just because I really want this to last through the holidays or whatever it is that we're doing. So I am trimming down my score tape so it fits in that opening and it's not going to touch anything else. And so again, stay under that score line. We're going to press down to really set that adhesive. And we're going to lift up. And I think this is the hardest part of the score tape. So now you have that ready to go. And so you can do this two ways. You can place it down like so. So we're going to line up the top. Then we're going to line up the edges. And then you have just a little bit there, so we're going to bring it down. But essentially, you really just want to try to keep the center. So one, your circle looks centered, and then you have the equal amount of space on the edges to be able to pull your slide, your tag. So now we're going to grab it, and we're going to pull up, and so pretend that, there we go. This is held down, and so it's going to hold up, and it's going to fold up. Okay, so it's going to fold this way. All right, now we're going to put the second part to our card. So we're going to flip this over again, and I wouldn't suggest putting the adhesive on that. I would put the adhesive on this side. So I'm going to use again my score tape, which is a really strong adhesive. I'm going to place 2 strips down at the bottom, and be sure that none of the adhesive actually touches that slider tag, or it will not slide. I'm going to place another set of adhesive down at the bottom, and then you want to add on the side. So there are different variations of score tape or strong tape adhesive that we're going to add onto this side. Alright guys, so I've added 2 little strips, and you can see it's not touching my tag, it's not going to touch the outer edge. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer to the camera, and I found that if I use an X-Acto knife or a blade knife to lift up the little pieces of the adhesive, it made it much easier. So now we're going to bring our back piece to this. So you can do it of 2 ways. I'm going to really just leave that there because I know my adhesive is not touching the tag, and I'm going to line up the bottom parts of this and really line up those corners. And by doing that, you know that you have a straight line. So we're really going to seal these edges with that score tape before. Be sure that your fingers are not full of ink that are going to ruin your amazing card or your amazing tag. And so now the tag is ready to go. So now you can lift and look for how fun. And so one of the biggest tips I can give you is to, when you're adding the adhesive, do not go past this line right here. So there is some wiggle room for it to slide out. All right, so now we're ready for some embellishments. So for the embellishment, you really want to keep, if you're going to add like a little snowflake or something, I have my snowflakes ready to go. And so again, one of the biggest tips that I can give you is to keep off the glue off of this top layer. So you can do something like this. Be sure that there's no glue coming out from the back of whatever that you're adding to it, so it doesn't get stuck. Okay. Now you can add another sentiment, or you can add another layer to this. And put this down here. So there's flat, up. Thank you so much. And again, you don't want it to be so big that it's not going to allow you to slip and slide your tag. Okay, so last but not least, we are going to add some thread or some twine, and I'm going to use this black and white one just to give it a little bit of difference. And you can embellish the outer of this tag right here. I would suggest not really embellishing the inner part. You could stamp right here. You can do another sentiment on the back, because that's the back of it. You just have to really pay attention to what you're doing. And we're just going to add a little bow. And guys, that does it. This is the way to put together one of the slider tags from the Studio Cadia slider tag dies. Well guys, that does it. Thanks so much.